Until AI takes over, because we know the algorithms are watching us. They look at our buying habits, but the machines are not talking yet, which leads us to our 8th commandment. Notice I haven't said a word. And to many listeners, this sounds awkward. And as a radio host myself, what I just described is something called radio silence. It's not something we want to do on the radio, but most of us aren't talking on the radio. We're talking to each other. On the radio, every second counts. But when we're speaking to each other, we don't have to pollute the air with every single word just because we don't like the awkwardness of silence. Mark Twain had a whole lot to say, and I loved his books as a kid because I related to what he said. He was funny, he was insightful, and he was smart. And I rarely connected to an author. Most books when I was reading as a kid, I found colossally dull. But there was something about his style. It was so refreshing. And while he had a lot of things to say, I devoted an entire chapter to him. And the reason I did that is because one of his great quotes was, "The right word may be effective, but no word was ever as effective as a rightly timed pause." And when you watch the great actors of the world, whether it's Shakespeare or they're in modern and contemporary times watching a comedy or a drama, you will notice they very tactically and skillfully create a little bit of drama or dramatic effect by resisting the impulse to say the words at the same cadence. And you could probably learn best from the comedians who understand their ability to be successful is based upon setting up a joke, letting the audience absorb what is the introduction. While that absorption is happening in the mind of the listener, give them 1 or 2 seconds to catch up, and then bam, they hit them with the punchline. What comedians know, and they are very serious about their profession in spite of the fact that they're funny, you will notice the way they speak is very smart. They will say something, wait for dramatic effect because they recognize in order for them to understand the audience, the punchline, it comes with timing. So the lesson here for the power of the pause is be mindful of your timing. Be certain when you're speaking to somebody to occasionally pause. It allows me as a speaker to catch up in my mind, but more importantly, it's always about the listener. Allow them the time and the space to catch up.
I love this note because I think another really relevant thing about this commandment is if you've done the right work to build intimacy and rapport up to the point of your pause, it is so much more powerful to have a moment of connection through reflection. You're reflecting on what's being said with someone you trust, who's offering sincerity. A really great example of this in a film context is the movie Drive. Are you familiar with Drive?
Yes.
Yes. One of my favorite things about the way that they produced that film was that they cut a lot of the dialogue out in the edit room and they left reactions. They left emotional reactions in. And so the movie doesn't have a lot of dialogue. The script has all the dialogue, but the movie didn't end up with a lot of it because you see it as the characters reflect emotions between each other.
What it didn't do was overwhelm us with all of these words that actually weren't necessary. And when you watched it, you didn't have to. In fact, in many cases, Dominic, what I've seen with you and many other clever filmmakers, let the pictures do the talking. They do speak 1,000 words, but I think we're caught in a world where we feel that, particularly the power of the pause, oh my God, it feels so awkward. Well, let it. And what you and I know about when we train our clients and they go bursting through word after word, they don't allow the audience to feel the pause, to feel the pain, to feel the glee, to feel the excitement. Let them feel it. If you just keep talking, you're now diminishing. You're burying the feeling. Don't. Let the feeling be in the air. Let it sit. Let's feel it. 1, 2, 3 seconds. Let it be. This is how we as human beings, this is how we feel good. Let us feel good. Let us feel pain. We can't do it when we're talking.